There's two of them. That's why it's called digastric. There's two of them sitting there. We're not going to deal with the stylohyoid. It's hard to see on our guide. Okay, so we're going to cross that out. We're also going to cross out the thyroid cartilage of the larynx. We're going to cross out the thyroid gland. On the other side of picture A, again, platysma is a word question. We're crossing out the stylohyoid because we really can't see it on our dude. We're going to cross out the hyoid bone. And with the omohyoid, we don't care about the bellies. So I'm not going to point to the superior versus inferior belly. Just omohyoid is good enough for me. You don't have to separate them out. Now, the unbolded words that we cross out, the thyroid cartilage, the thyroid gland, the hyoid bone, those are landmarks. Okay, so it's kind of like if I'm trying to tell you how to get to Wiener Schnitzel on Western, I might say it's right next to Planet Fitness. It used to be Michael's. Right? Wiener Schnitzel Western. Well, you don't have to know where those are because the important thing is finding Wiener Schnitzel because chili dogs are delicious. So it's one of those whenever you are traveling, you don't always have to know who's right next to Pack-a-Sack, but it is helpful if you know that because it helps you identify the location you're going to. So I'm not going to point to the hyoid bone and ask you to identify it. I'm not going to point to the thyroid gland to ask you to identify it, but they're good landmarks to know because if I have a muscle that goes from the thyroid gland to the hyoid bone, I know that is the thyrohyoid. Okay, so all those neck muscles forge into the switches. So the landmarks will help us to identify where we're coming from and where we're going. And that's what all those terms mean. Mylohyoid. Mylo means molar. Okay, so it comes from your jaw by your teeth and going down to your hyoid bone, making up the floor of your mouth. So it goes from the teeth to your hyoid bone. The omohyoid, which is just fun to say. It's like, oh my. Omo means shoulder because, of course it does. It's Latin. It makes no sense. So it actually goes from your shoulder to your hyoid bone. It makes a little U-turn there. So everybody tells you where they're coming from, where they're going, based on their names. And them's your neck muscles. Next page, figure 13.6, A, B, and C. Nobody cares. Okay? Those are way too deep. I cannot point to any of those because dude doesn't have any of those because you don't see his ribs and stuff. The only thing on page 202 and 203 you have to know is the one row where it's talking about the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Because that's the only place it talks about it. So all the rest of those, scalene, splenius, erector spinae, nobody cares. Okay? So those two pages, the only thing we care about is that row with the sternocleidomastoid. The other muscles do not exist for us. Okay. And then the next page is a chest, so that'll be tomorrow. Any questions so far? So when we look at the models that we are going to be using, the head, the neck, the chest, the back, they're going to be off of the dudes. We do have arm models and we have leg models that are separate. So we use those because obviously dude loses his limbs like crazy. He's like, oh, it's on the floor. So we're not going to be using his arms. We're not going to be using his legs. He's got like wicked ghetto beauty issues going on. So we're going to use the little individual arm models and the individual leg models for the upper limbs and the lower limbs. So that's our dude. This is our muscle guide that we're going to play with the anatomage on Thursday. So here's Carl. Hello, Carl. It looks a little weird, but what do you want? He's good. Again, he's our big boy from Texas, right? Lethal injection at its finest. So we're going to concentrate with his head and neck to begin with today. So here's super close-up of his head and neck. Obviously, he had some dental issues while he was in prison. So different muscles we can see. We have the frontalis muscle, right, the forehead. Here we have the gala aponeurotica on his really pointy head. I'm sure he sees the light. Okay. We have our orbicularis oculi, again, ocular like binoculars, okay, means eyeball, and orbicularis means circle-y, okay, so around. We're going to have the orbicularis oris, oris meaning oral like mouth, okay, so the circle around your mouth. So your orbicularis oculi lets you wink at people. Your orbicularis oris lets you kiss people. We're going to have the zygomaticus major, going from the corner of the mouth to the zygomatic bone. It is going to be the larger of those two muscles. And then next to that is the zygomaticus minor. So it is smaller than the major. It helps the major, but it doesn't do the main work. We have the levator labii superioris. Again, levator, like elevator, lifts up. Labia meaning lip, and superioris means up. So its name means lift the lip up. Okay, so that's the guy that lets you sneer like Elvis. You can pull your lip up. We're going to have our massive masseter used to masticate, so our big chewing muscle. And then right underneath that, you'll have the buccinator muscle. Some say buccinator. So if you go to Bucky, you said right W, remember the buccinator, it's spelled the same way as the, what is he, a beaver?
Mm-hmm.
Those people really care about their beavers. Okay, so those over there. Here we have the triangularis, so that triangle guy. Again, in your book, it's the depressor labii inferior. No, it's the depressor angularis. I always use triangularis because it's triangle. It's easier to remember. Next to that is the depressor labii inferioris. Again, depressor downward, labii lip, and inferior's under or down. So it pulls the lip down. So that's what you would use to pout. So your triangularis pulls your lip in a frown, so kind of out at an angle, and then your depressor labii inferioris lets you pout your lip if you want to pout your lip. Okay? And that's why you always hear the myth, it takes less energy to smile than it does to frown, because the smiling muscles, the zygomaticus major, when you do a typical frown, it's the triangularis, but if you want to pout while you frown, you involve the depressor labii inferioris, so 2 versus 1. So that's where that myth comes from. Looking at next stuff, we have our sternocleidomastoid right here, from the sternum clavicle to the mastoid of the temporal area. We're going to have our sternohyoid from the sternum to the hyoid. We'll have the sternothyroid and the thyrohyoid, which is kind of hard to see on him because they didn't dissect very well in the neck. And our little U-turn guy is the oval. And the digastric right here. It runs along the jaw, and there's 2 of them. And then in the middle, we would have the myelohyaloid. And here's the back of his little pointy head. So again, we have the gala apneurotica. We have the occipicalis muscle, the temporalis muscle. Again, this is why we learn bones first, because I bet you the frontalis is in front of the frontal bone. So a lot of bones are going to lend their names to the muscles. And of course, the trapezius on your back, giving you football neck if you have really big trapezius. Okay. And this is just super close up of his neck. And it's a big mess. There was no way to make this look nicer because it was just hideous. But we have the sternocleidomastoid from the sternoclavicle to the mastoid. On this side, it's been removed so you can see detail. So we have the sternohyoid from the sternum to the hyoid. Underneath that, you would have the sternothyroid and the thyrohyoid. Kind of hard to see. We have our omohyoid, our U-turny guy, and then our digastric and the myelohyoid. Oh, and that's poofiness is going to be tomorrow. Pretend to be amazed. Pretend that's amazing. So that's what it would look like on our anatomage duty. Now we do have 2 guys on wheels, so they are mobile. You're just going to have to share because that's all we have in the room. Now when you move him around, do be gentle. His little ghetto booties kind of shifts his weight to the back, so if you push too hard, he just falls over. Awkward. He's got issues. So when you roll him around, do be gentle when you roll him around. Yes, sir.
So the sternocleidohyoid?
Sternocleidomastoid.
Okay, you said something about a hyoid after the sternocleidomastoid.
So there's a sternohyoid.
Sternohyoid.
And then there's a thyrohyoid.
Do we need to know the sternohyoid? It's not in my book.
The sternohyoid is on page 201, figure 13.5.
Okay. Sternohyoid. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it really details all those little neck muscles. To me, picture A looks weird because it looks like the fleshy outline of his head and ears is facing forward, but they drew his jaw facing upwards. But all those neck muscles, they detailed there.
201, 2.5.
Any other questions?
What's the bonus quiz 7? Is it today, right?
Yep.
What is it at, over?
Face and neck.
Okay.
So 13.5, 13.4.
And then you said on page 200, we can't see any of these.
To get everything
deeper
with
layers.
this
So,
one.
We can see everything on picture C, but
Okay.
all the other muscles are with that, so there's no need to look at it again because we just saw it on picture A.
Okay.
So it won't look, they just isolated the chewing muscles so you
So
can
we just
see
need
just
the
the
neck
chewers,
and the face, right?
or those involved in eating.
Neck and head. Neck and face or neck and head? Neck and head, right?
Neck and face.
Neck and head.
Okay.
Includes your occipitalis, so,
So I'm putting back here?
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, there's just one there,
Just one, okay.
when you put it that way. But there's not a whole lot in the back, just occipitalis and techniques. He does roll, you just have to be gentle because he wants to fall on his butt. Mhm. You can tell by the scrapes he falls on.
So. We want it right here.
Here, here.
Right behind us, okay. Let's see if we can identify these. There it is.
You didn't want it.
Huh?
You didn't want it. Just left it all by itself.
Oh,
It's a,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because we don't even know. Mhm. So we.
I need my two.
Levator labii superioris.
What was it?
Levator labii superioris. I think this will. Is that up?
Hold on.
No. This one's tricky. So I think it's this muscle here. Not
Which
this
one's
one.
going with it?
Yeah. So in the face and we'll look over the back in the neck. So
Which one did you say? Let's check it on you.
okay. Help. Help. This one's confusing.
Which foot is
So
it?
look, you have 1, 2, 3. The labii, the levator labii superioris, is it there? Ah, there. Okay.
Just here.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
These
Because it's
two
connected to that one. Wait.
are these zygomaticus, minor and major.
so this is the major, it's the big one going to the zygomatic bone, so you can smile. The minor is the little guy, they don't draw them very well, but, or, he's littler, so it helps.
What's this one?
I was getting a little
How
confused.
come that one looks?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, because it
This
looks
looks
more like
different.
right here.
Yeah, that's why I called for help, because I was like.
Yeah, because they just use a bracket, because they didn't want to write zygomaticus twice. So major is the big one, minor is the little one. Now, this is the big one, this is your little one.
Okay.
His is bigger, maybe he smiles more than this.
Levator labii superioris is right next to the nose. I guess just into you on this one, it's just.
So it's really just this one.
Yeah, so he kind of comes up this way.
Okay. So it's kind of just different, but we'll know.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else to point to.
So I was thinking the labia
Because if you look at where he's attached, so he
was.
None of it?
It's gonna be right behind the major, that's not this major. So if you made it right behind it, and then say yeah, right here. What's copy good?
I'm gonna try their monster for a moment. What is it?
The green one?
Yeah.
I did.
I wanna try
I don't think that, I figured that is gonna be, that's half a pot copy right there. And I still, I think it's 3/4 of a pot.
Vesicular sclerosis.
So you're saying it- Okay. And we're looking for the orbicular oris, like a mass. Orbicular oris. And the orbicular
So they have the same name, but this is ocular and this is
oris.
oris. Yeah.
Oris is mouth, oculi is eye.
Vesicular oris.
Just think oral, mouth, oris, oral, oculi, eye.
We don't even know the
Depressor labii inferioris. Okay. Depressor labii inferioris. So, oh, I think it is this one, right here. So here's your chin, and it's one over, so right there. Okay. No, this is oh, okay, yes, this is the depressor labii inferioris. And we have depressor anguli oris, which is one back, right here. To get everything we just learned, and we need to start storing this information. Now the, I don't know.
What is it?
Platisma?
Platisma?
The platisma?
Oh, it's just a leg.
So it's supposed to connect to the mandible here. Look at this picture, it connects to the mandible and all the way down. So I don't know what it's supposed to connect to the mandible, all the way down over the clavicle. But,
None of them do. You wouldn't see anything because it covers everything.
right, okay.
So
So it's
it
a
would
word
just
question.
overall just be like good.
No,
Yeah or no?
no, check it out. It's
Oh.
not here. She said it's not here because it would be covering all of these that we need to memorize. So that's why it's not here.
Platinum is gonna be a word question.
We're just gonna have to remember that
You said
it would be here.
Gladys?
The plasma.
Yes, okay.
Platinum means flat.
Say it again, platisma?
Plasma.
Platisma. Platisma.
Platypus.
The platisma. Platisma. Okay, let's go back to feedback. Brent, you got that?
I need to do that too.
You violated this man. Okay, aponeurotica. erotica would be where the,
It's
is it
that,
just here?
yeah, so that kind of bluish connective tissue between the occipitalis and frontalis.
Okay. Okay, so from here to here. Okay. So the gala aponeurotica is about halfway. So from about here. Gala aponeurotica. That sounds like very dirty.
Where's my beach? Where was it? Where did we get back in?
Gala aponeurotica.
Oh.
Right
Where's
here.
that?
So
Oh, yeah.
from about here,
Yeah, because you changed the
it goes
word.
to about there. About here to there.
The gala,
She said it's this bluish white material.
the gala.
Gala aponeurotica. Gala.
So it's,
From about here.
okay.
Okay. Now let's go to the frontalis. Oh. So the frontalis, the frontalis is here, where the frontal bone is.
Frontalis,
The frontalis.
frontalis.
Now, yep, temporalis,
Occipital.
the occipitalis, is where the occipital would be, exactly. This is gonna be easy. Now, this is one that we kept talking about earlier, last chapter. The masseter. We kept talking about mastication, and to chew. The masseter. Holy mother moly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's right. This one here. Sternocleidomastoid is sternomasseter. Masseter for the jaw. Mass. Yes, mass eater. Mass eater. You stuff mass into your mouth. It's really chill. Mass eater. Stop. It's food, bro. What? So from behind the ear, we can see this one.
We need to know
Mas- the
this.
masseter. And this sternocleidomastoid is here. This big one. Sternocleidomastoid. And then on the back, we have the trapezius, which some people call these, like in the gym bros call this the traps, your traps. It's this right here. What you traps there? It's coming up to like the back of the head. Anyways, trapezius. Stop, bro.
Sorry, say nothing. I'm so skinny.
Oh. Did you find the root that are connected to the neck?
Nope.
Rib bones connected to the chest bone. This one,
Okay, so where's the occupied?
occipital oculi.
We'll take turns. Okay, where's
This
the?
one, occipital oris.
Wait, I'll tell you what one I want to do.
I just know these two off the top of my head. The rest of them might be
Occipital.
oris. Think oral
Occular.
oculi.
I just made one for the,
So off the bat, I'm gonna know these two, and you should know these
yeah,
two.
like
as
for
well.
this one,
The
I just
eye
made one, but I
is
haven't.
occipital. the mouth, the oral.
No, I didn't do it for the neck, I just did it for
Occipital
this.
oris.
Okay, took it since the second image, and then I laid it. Yeah, it took me,
Orbicular. Look this up. Oh my God.
keep going there.
Orbicular.
And I think it'll,
Let me see. Hold on.
it'll be on.
Yeah.
Or
Orbicular.
or these sound like dinosaur words.
Orbicularis. Okay. Orbicularis oculi.
Yeah, you know how like they're called the other names? Orbicularis
Okay.
oculi,
Orbicularis oculi. Right. Orbicularis.
levator labi superioris, and then orbicularis, and then oculi.
Levator labii superioris
Remember she
is
said
the
it's
one
this.
that's connected to here.
It should be on there.
The
It's,
levator
muscle of the
labii
scalp
superioris
is in
connects the oculi and the
it. Yeah,
neck.
muscle of scalp is in it.
So just remember Darth Vader, levator, labii
So
superioris.
without looking at me, have to know the levator and what?
Levator labii superioris. Superioris. Let's all say that a few times.
That's what I'm saying, so you can have it memorized besides looking at the paper.
Levator labii
More like a paper than what it says, which is like blank. Okay, back to the beginning.
Zygomaticus minor and major.
Wait, hold on, pause. Let's see if it's yours, right? Well, not the beginning, let's go through it.
Orbicularis oculi.
Okay, and then orbicularis.
Oris.
Orbicularis. Right?
Orbicularis
I
oris.
don't know why it's not
Orbicularis, or.
I can't.
I don't know.
And then this is the
Just send it
levator labii
Yeah.
superioris. And it goes from here next to the oris.
Yeah, orbicularis.
And these two are
Where do
the
you have the other ones?
oris
So it's not
mouth.
showing up on my phone
Oris
either,
means mouth.
so. I'll turn it on.
Um,
Maybe I can
Zygomaticus.
email it to you.
And just remember the zygomaticus minor and major are literally connected to the zygomatic bone.
Yeah, zygomatics. And then this is the frontalis.
It is the,
Minor and major.
yes, frontalis.
Yeah, frontalis, minor and major.
Temporalis.
And
And
then
occipitalis in the back.
occipitalis.
Occipitalis.
Yeah. And the book, because minor is.
The buccinator,
Right.
the buccinator,
Okay, buccinator.
or buccinator. She said you could call it buccinator. The buccinator, just buccinator is the buccinator.
I like
It's underneath-
buccinator better.
The buccinator is underneath the major and minor zygomaticus.
This is like the legs and then
So it's right in there, underneath these. It's the buccinator. Buccinator.
Sorry, I have to spell it. You know, and Bucky kind of just makes it funny.
Orbicular oris, we already know that. Depressive
Wait, where
oris.
is it?
So the buccinator, or here, just right in there. Okay, now moving to the neck, we do have two more on the face. We have the depressor labii inferiors, which is go from the chin, and it's this one.
What's the second one? Because the chin is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the chin is the mentalis, which we don't even know that, she said. Right?
Right.
Right. So the second one here is the depressor labii inferiors, and then after that, this one here,
Are you sure we didn't have one?
I don't know.
Depressor and
Yeah.
angularly or.
Okay, she said triangular, sorry, that's why I said triangular.
Depressor,
Yeah, so
the triangularis. The triangularis. She says because it's triangular. Triangular.
Looks like a kid.
Okay, and then this is the only one that's not on any of these models. She said the platysma, which goes from the
That's gonna be
lower
what
part of the
the-
mandible
Yeah.
down to the clavicle.
Yeah.
Okay, might even go further. Now, word question. Isn't this a word question? We have to have a word question. Gala aponeurotica. One about here to here. And we already know where the frontalis is. We know where the occipitalis is.
Well, it's
Tempora.
big, yeah, but isn't it up there? I don't know.
I mean,
It's the muscle.
It is, but this is just a small thing. It's just showing a small part of the occipitalis. But, so just know. occipitalis.
It's temporal, no other way. Bruh, wait, let me take a picture. Bro, oh my god.
You really need just these ones.
Damn. Okay. No. Facing, yeah.
Okay, here we go, the neck. Now, the masseter is this big one here. That's literally right under the zygomatic process.
You're on the head. Yeah, we're still on the head.
We just finished all this, because we know what the frontalis is, we know what the occipitalis is, we know what the temporalis is. Let's just those two. We did the Gala aponeurotica, frontalis, occipitalis, temporalis. Now let's go to the masseter, masseter. This one here. This other one is a weird sphenoidal mastoid, which is this one that goes right behind the ear, down. And then we go
Wait, we're not on the neck?
and this one's easy, because if you're a gym bro, all gym bros are trying to get their traps bigger. So we call them the traps. Trapezius,
My head.
right here, trapezius. Okay. You were on there. Inside of the neck. Okay, so we got a lot of good ones. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. Because I think I need to write down some of these. I don't have any of mine marked down. Can you have all the ones that we actually? Teach us, teach.
This is the line, right? Yeah, because it's like up here.
Mhm.
And then,
Myofibroid.
like look at that picture? Or yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know.
What are you looking at?
Look at my picture and then
The hyoid bone?
it's this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Just this right here.
Okay.
The actual bone. So all those muscles are going to be connected to it.
No, we're talking about the muscle, not the bone.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, the
I'm
muscle
confused.
of the
What am I
hyoid?
doing?
Myohyoid is right. Oh.
So is there another
Yeah.
one? Okay. And then the almost highway. This all looks the same. I think I have to go over it.
Omohyoid. So I think you'll have better luck on this side with the omohyoid, because that side has some of them taken out.
Oh, this is the, I remember now. This is the right side. I should have,
Omohyoid would be
yeah. The little, and then the sternum highway. Right here. And then this,
oh, this
why
is
do you look like Egypt? Yeah.
gonna go over
This
it.
one's gonna be tricky.
This one,
Mm.
can you go over it with us with the next part, if you can?
This is a little confusing looking, and I'm not quite sure where some of these are. So in here, some of them just go straight up. and- Yeah, I don't know.
So all,
The neck,
or just neck?
or what do you want to do, neck or everything? Let's do everything.
My finger's not good enough for you.
Next. Lots of-
Yeah, you
What
stay.
did you
I
say?
do, but. Depends on Alright, so we've got the frontalis, temporalis, occipitalis, the gala aponeurotica. We have our orbicularis oculi, our orbicularis oris, our massive masseter used to masticate. We've got the zygomaticus major, the zygomaticus minor, the levator labii superioris, triangularis, the depressor labii inferioris, our buccinator or buccinator muscle. We've got the sternocleidomastoid from the sternoclavicle to the mastoid region. Sternohyoid from the sternum to the hyoid. Sternothyroid from the sternum to the thyroid. Thyrohyoid from the thyroid to the hyoid. The omohyoid, oh my, it U-turns. And we got our digastric, because there's two of them, they kind of cut in half. And then the myelohyoids right there, and trapezius.
How did you? That was so nice.
That was really that smart.
Oh my goodness.
It's because you can do it.
That's what
At this location.
Did you say 20 years at this location?
I was an undergraduate lab assistant for 3 years at WT, that was zoology. And then at UCA, I did biology majors 1 semester, A&P2 2 semesters, zoology 2 semesters. And then here.
Something that's always just like it's in your head, like you found easy.
Yeah, it's still like little bit of those, some people are good at sports, some people are good at talking to people, books.
Yeah,
It's fun.
that's cool.
But again, I've been doing this for a couple of decades, if you don't know it. That's not good.
Yes.
Exactly. Ooh, that's a nice picture.
I'm about to start playing that game now.
Oh my God, I forgot this is still going. Whoops.
Ever seen that video of it